I'm telling you, sitting used to be so painful because she was just all riding up there, you know. And now it's like, whoosh, I can breathe. It's so nice. I have so much breathing room.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.
This is going to be a recap of my first and second trimester, since I didn't start doing these vlogs until my third trimester. So I'm just gonna catch you up and give you a rundown on symptoms that I experienced, and then just kind of like what it felt like. Yeah, so if this is not going to be a video where I just am like, boo, 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 here's all the bad things, I'm gonna warn you, it's just really negative. I will tell you about the hard stuff. So be prepared for that. I will be honest, but my hope is to leave you with the reminder that it's always just a season, and that God is so faithful, and there is grace for us through all of it. Just to let you know, heads up, this is probably going to be a little more explicit video when it comes to pregnancy symptoms and a woman's body. Meaning my body. I'm gonna talk about some stuff that's happened to me, and I'm just gonna be forthright about it. So if you don't want to hear about this, or if you're a man, then I just encourage you, continue on at your own risk. But I'm going to willingly share because as a pregnant mama, I so have Googled these things, and I've looked on YouTube for videos, and I've wanted to hear other women's experiences. So first symptom that I experienced right off the bat at about 6 or 7 weeks was the nausea. And unfortunately, this came in the form of 24/7 nausea. It was a challenge for me just for the mere fact that I try to avoid taking medications for symptom-related things. But I wasn't functioning very well. I'm pretty sure I even took like a day or two off work because I just couldn't handle how I was feeling. So the medicine was really helpful for me, getting something that helped to get me through the day. Normally it would only last till about 2 or 3, and so the evenings were somewhat hard until I could take more medicine again before I was going to sleep. I also had some pretty challenging, the sciatic pain, but for pregnant women, right? Very similar, and that was difficult. I had a couple of days where I felt like I could hardly walk, and every time I would walk, I was moaning or huffing or sharp inhales and looking like a dork. I also had extreme fatigue. I really was just point blank useless for my first trimester. And combination of the throwing up, not being able to keep things down, extreme fatigue, and the pain that I was experiencing, my emotions were pretty wild. So with my first pregnancy, the worst I experienced was 2 instances of being hangry and not knowing how to handle myself. And I'm laying on the floor on the phone with my mom, just like explaining to her that I understood that I was being illogical and emotional and hormonal. I didn't know how to get out of it, and she was like, get your butt up now, go to the store, get some food, just do it. Like, that's the first thing you need to do. Just move your physical body to take action. And I did, and I felt better. But I remember it was just a raging war inside, but nothing ended up coming out. And so now going through my second, where my hormones have been like crazy, like, oh, super depressed, like I can't even handle things, and like really happy and delightful and whatever, to I can't function. Like I have had so many instances where I have been paralyzed by my emotions. I don't know how to function because it's a roaring storm inside of me. Like, I'll be honest, friends, the main thing I've learned with the pregnancy hormones is how true it is from 1 Peter that we need to humble ourselves before the Lord, because hormones are working for us in our pregnancy. They're a good thing. To see it and experience it is not a bad thing, but we just can't handle sometimes not being perfectly put together. We don't have grace for ourselves. And a part of that is I needed to recognize that in those moments when there is a crazy battle going on inside, I really just needed to humble myself before the Lord and trust Him, what He's doing in my body, and just let it go. And the challenge that I ended up having to face was that I had such a great pregnancy with Hadley. And my hope was to be able to do a vlog like this or some type of way of sharing about my pregnancy experience with people as I was going through my pregnancy. So I felt this huge blow my first trimester, realizing that I didn't have the energy or the capacity at all, and honestly, even the emotional stability to be able to do anything or provide value in any way. Like, it was really a hard season for me. And it came out in most of my conversations with people. I would tell people how challenging I thought the pregnancy was. I was kind of negative about it. And of course, as a human being, we often look back on those things, or even right after we do it, and we kick ourselves. We just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm that complainer, I'm a grumpy person. So I'm like, from all angles, the physical side, the spiritual side, the emotional side, I really felt it. It was not a victorious first trimester. I really didn't come out of it with a more positive outlook or great things to take away. I now, way past it, can look back on it, and I'm just really grateful for God's grace. Really, really grateful. I didn't have any grace for myself during that time, but God was so gracious and faithful to me, and I don't feel the weight of shame and frustration over it. I just feel for the woman that it walked through that and the emptiness that she felt. And I wish that she could have realized that she would have found hope in Christ, and she could have found grace there too. But I really missed it, like hardcore, my first trimester. Nausea continued until about 20 weeks. But as I was going into my second trimester is also when COVID-19 was kind of swirling around us. And I ended up coming down with something. So they weren't able to test me. They did test me for the flu and found negative for that. They weren't seeing it was really anything else. So they sent me home basically saying, pretty positive you have COVID. For about a week and a half, I wrestled through that, and it was pretty challenging. COVID was not, as long as it was COVID, whatever I had was not fun, and it was probably worse than the flu. So during that time, I started to be medicated with tons of stuff. I had a cough suppressant. I wasn't keeping water down at all for almost 2 days. Just everything was coming back up. Obviously the fever was kind of sketchy. I ended up getting a sinus infection from it, and like 2 other weird random infections during that time. So I went through this 2-week period that was pretty sucky. I will tell you my one story, and it is that I had hospital-worthy constipation. For real. And in the middle of work in the morning one morning, it hit me like literally as if a train just went right from the top of my head, boom, down. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I'm rushing to the bathroom. I'm trying to go to the bathroom, and I begin to experience for the next 3 hours pain that I would equate to labor pains. Faux show. Like, these were intense pains. So I tried some enemas at home, and they didn't work, and I was almost just crying. Like, I made more loud noises then than I did during labor. Yeah, my husband was scared when he came home. He gets on the phone with the doctor, comes in, he's like, grab all your stuff, we're going to the hospital right now. She said, we need to go, right now. We go to the hospital. Okay, so apparently hospital grade enemas, they'll say. She said it should take 1 to 2, and then you should be good, maybe 3, but that'll be extreme. So on the third one, she is like, this is intense and I'm really sorry. And so then on the 4th one, she just did it for good measure. Like, let's just see if this 4th one, you know, helps even more. So I left not even completely done with the whole thing, but the pain was quite a bit better. So after all the drama with the suspected COVID, several infections, and going to the hospital for constipation, that's fun too, I started to experience some relief. And the second half of my 2nd trimester was smooth. As soon as we kind of like turned the corner there, the stay-at-home order began. I was like, my quarantine for my family ended 2 days before the stay-at-home order went into place. So we basically were quarantined for a little extra longer. And so as soon as that started to happen, I started to experience some rest and relief in my physical state of being and my emotional state of being. I'm really grateful when I look back. Such a hard time. The things we walked through with friends and family, like, it was a hard time for everyone. For our family, it was very needed and it felt like a blessing. The stay-at-home order, we'll go with that. It felt like a blessing. And it provided me the rest time that I think my body needed. And I think it just sort of set me up to walk into my 3rd trimester, or the end of my 2nd, 3rd trimester, be able to do all of this for a YouTube channel and many other things. It just took me a while to recognize God's hand on the situation. Just that I was able to relate to many friends that had really difficult pregnancies in a way I wasn't able to before. I walked through the valley and I also had the mountaintop experience when it came to pregnancy. So I will conclude with this. One of the things that I think has been different from this pregnancy compared to the first that I have had power over is that I have not taken very good care of myself. I've eaten sugar, 3-4 sugar, sweets, any carby, anything that's horrible for you. Multiple times a day, I've resorted to like processed snacks, which I just normally wouldn't eat. And I've been very unhealthy in that way. Before I got pregnant, I was walking constantly, and I've just not been walking or staying active during this pregnancy. So I think in general, I've just not cared for myself really well, and I did much better when I was pregnant with my first Hadley. And so kind of a cool thing is that this next week, I've committed to just kind of doing this 7-day health and fitness sprint, just staying active this whole week, eating much better, making sure I'm getting my water. There's several vitamins that I've noticed normally always like help my spirits and help my energy level. So I'll be focusing on that all week, and I will give you a quick update on what that was like in my next video. And please pray for me and encourage me if you can, because I'm having a meltdown a little bit internally at the idea of not eating extra sweets because my body's craving it big time. Give me the sugar. I want the sugar. Sugar. These are like sugar characters that sit on my shoulder and just whisper chocolate. Ice cream. I know you don't like ice cream, but it would be so yummy. Seriously. This is all the time. All the time. Yeah, just get up, turn off the video, and go eat sugar. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will subscribe to stay tuned for more videos like this on faith and pregnancy. Make sure to like this video as well. Every time you like, it helps the video get in front of more women. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye.